Let's discuss chain tensioning. Now, if you currently have no problems with excessive chain wear, tight joints, burrs, or hard-nosed bars wearing out too early, then you're probably doing things right and you don't have a problem with chain tensioning. But if you have difficulty, or your customers have difficulty in, let's say, excessive wear along here in the tie straps and cutters in a concave fashion like that, typically that's a sign of too tight chain tension on a hard-nosed bar. On the other hand, if on tie straps and cutters you have a peening, particularly here in the toe of the cutter or tie strap, that is evidence of loose chain tensioning, which is a far more common problem that we see in the field. So if you have either of those two problems, then this discussion is for you. Let's look at this saw here, hard-nosed bar, and to properly tension this unit, we would first loosen the bar mounting nut here. That's been done. Then all saws have a tensioning screw at some point on the housing of the unit. Lifting the bar tip up, tighten the tensioning screw until the chain just snugs up to the bottom of the bar. That's the proper setting for a hard-nosed bar. Then it's a matter of tightening that mounting nut, holding the bar tip up like that. A properly tensioned chain then is just snug on the bottom of the bar rails. It can be pulled around by hand with a little effort, and if you pull down on the chain, you can see a few drive links with just a little bit of pressure from your hand. Now that's an armor tip bar, a hard-nosed bar. For a sprocket nose bar, you use the same procedure, but the actual setting is a little bit tighter. In fact, that chain should snap right back down on the bar rail. You should still be able to pull it around with a little effort, but it should be tighter on a sprocket nose bar. One other point about tensioning chain properly: it must be done when the chain is cold, not when the chain is hot. One of the biggest problems we have is folks try to tension chain and tighten it up when it's hot. Then they go off and do something else. The chain gets cold, it contracts, and the power of that metal contracting is enough to bend the crankshaft on some saws that have a hollow crankshaft. So chain should be tensioned when the chain is cold, and by that I mean you can touch it with your bare fingers and not get burned. I have a machine here that's designed to illustrate chain tensioning and what can happen if the chain is improperly tensioned. It's a little noisy, so I'll tell you in advance what's going to happen. Right now it's set up just about right, and I'm going to loosen it considerably so that the chain is far too loose. And you will see the chain come up off the sprocket and try to go toward the ceiling. It can't do that, of course, because it's captive, and it'll come back down and slam on the bar, and that's where those burrs come from that we talked about earlier. In fact, I'll loosen it up so much that you'll see it go up, come down, and actually go back up and come down again like a sine wave as it tries to make its way onto that bar. So let's watch this machine in action. So you can see the effect of that. That's pretty dramatic. When your saw is at high speed and that chain is trying to escape and come up out of that sprocket and slams back down on the bar, you can see the damage it will do not only to the chain but also to the bar itself.